my channel and a new video from me. Today we're going to talk about how to budget and save in your 20s the realistic way. So I'm 29 years old, so I've had a whole decade of navigating and learning on how to deal with my money. I've also worked in the banking and finance world for 2 years, and I actually took my Swedish Sweatec license for advisor. So I am a licensed advisor in Sweden, but not in any other country. But I do know what has worked for me, so I would like to share some big sister advice and common sense with all of you. So if you're interested in learning how to take control of your finances, grab a paper and pen and let's get right into this video. So the first thing I'm gonna say is get a job. I know it's pretty obvious. You need to have some type of income to even start budgeting and saving. And if you're in your 20s, you're most likely studying. I would say try to even get a part-time job. Even if it's only 10 hours per week, it's good so you have some type of income that you can actually start budgeting and saving. I know sometimes it is hard, but it is possible. I've worked since I was 16 years old just because I had to if I wanted to get things that my parents couldn't give me. Also, I do like to make some money. Of course, back when I was studying, there was times when I had more challenging courses and there were times when I had easier courses. So I had to be flexible with my work hours and adjust my hours according to how difficult or challenging my course was at the time. So my tip is really to get like a part-time job that have that ability to give you, where you can be flexible and you don't always have to be there. Tip number 2 is live at home for longer. Housing is the biggest expense that you will have, so if you are able to cut that off completely, you are going to be able to save aggressively. To live at home for longer is not always the most ideal option, but it is the option that is realistically going to have you save the most. I personally lived at home until I was 28 years old. In a Swedish perspective, culturally, that is very unusual. In a Tanzanian perspective, culturally, it is not unusual at all for an unmarried woman to live at home that long. But I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard for me living at home that long, especially since I have a Tanzanian traditional mother. I had no personal space, I had no privacy, just no respect for boundaries at all. If you have African parents, you understand my pain, you understand what I went through. But for me, I had my head, my eyes on the goal, and I was like, I'm going to save so much money. And honestly, that option really helped me to save a lot of money and also being able to travel and do so much fun at the same time. Actually, the 2 last years, I saved 40K in order to buy this home and have a wedding. And if you're interested in watching how I motivated myself to save that much money, go and check my most recent video, which is exactly about that, and I will link it somewhere up here. But yeah, guys, there's really pros and cons with staying home for a little bit longer. I know that when I moved to my apartment last year before I came here to the US, it was such a freedom. It was wonderful. And I've always known how to budget and save, but it was a whole different feeling of budgeting and saving for your own household without, siblings or parents in the house and you have to do everything. It's really a learning experience and you grow from it. So in the way, I do see the importance of living alone for a while. But if you have a very specific goal of, no, I want to save a lot of money, then realistically, you should stay home for a little bit longer. The next thing is go to university in your hometown. If you choose this option, then you can obviously live at home, which we established before was the best way to saving a lot of money. Going to university in your hometown will help you take less loans because you won't need any student accommodation. And if you live in a place like Sweden, like I did, there are no tuition fees. So you have no student loans at the end of your schooling. Let's give a round of applause for social democracy. I love it. No student debt. If you do live in a country like United States that have very high tuition fees, a good option is to go to community college, which have lower fees or maybe even no fees, and then finish your last couple of courses of your degree in a higher institution if you would like that. That's what my husband did, and he finished school without an outrageous amount of debt. Personally, I studied in my hometown, Stockholm, so I lived at home all of that time. And as I said earlier, there were definitely hardships of being at home with a very strict parent and having some of my boundaries messed with. You're an adult, but you still live under a parent's roof, which sometimes you can butt heads. So that was definitely hard. But as I am today, I just feel like it was still worth it for me. For you people who would really like to just travel somewhere for your studies and go away from your home, I would suggest to maybe compromise and do a study abroad semester or year. In the EU, we have the Erasmus program, so they offer scholarships so that EU students can actually travel abroad and do internship, trainees, just exchange program, and included in that is usually a financial grant, so your travels are paid for and your subsistence costs, and that's a really good option of still getting that going away experience and that rich experience of traveling even outside of your own country without going away from your hometown. So most of your studying will be in your hometown, but then you had that year or semester where you can go away. That's something I did. I did an internship in Tanzania for 6 months and I absolutely loved it. It was so enriching. It was great. I did that for my bachelor, so I was like 22 or something, and I would do it all over again. But it was an option for me to do something like that and not incur all of those fees that otherwise coming with going to school in another place from your home. View savings as an expense. To help make savings a habit, I actually view it as a regular expense such as groceries, bills, mortgage, all of that goes immediately out from my paycheck. Even my savings will go immediately from my paycheck. So whatever is left, I know, okay, this is miscellaneous stuff. And that just makes it so much easier to make it a habit, but also make sure that you actually save every month. So as soon as my paycheck, or when I had a paycheck, came in, I would put that away into my savings, and then another chunk would go into investing. That was for pension, because it's such a long-term saving. I don't just put it in a regular account. I actually put that in investment. Basically, I don't see the money I put away for saving as my money, but more so my future self's money. The next thing you should do is differentiate between long-term saving and short-term savings. So you should basically be very intentional in how you save, because long-term saving and short-term saving is not the same thing. Short-term saving is like saving for an emergency fund when unknown things can happen, like your car breaks down or something breaks that you really need to replace. Short-term saving can also be vacation, some specific goal, maybe a girls trip that you have. Long-term saving is savings that is far ahead into the future. I was saying that's pension, and really it's investment in yourself, because long-term savings, which is far into the future, you don't want to put that in a regular savings account. You actually want to invest that. The earlier you start investing, the better, because then you can take advantage of compound interest and see your money grow exponentially over time. If you're like me and not very interested in following individual companies on the stock market and seeing how they go up and down, a good option is an equity fund. An equity fund is a fund with different stocks from different companies put together, so you have like a mixed bag of different stocks and you just buy into that. But that stock in itself has generally a really wide range of companies that they invest in, so you get a little bit of everything. I have invested in a broad stock fund because I wanted to capture as many industries as possible, as many geographies as possible, to spread out my risk. So I have chosen one which invests in multinational companies that are generally industry leaders. So we're talking Google, Apple, AstraZeneca, etc., etc. And for me, I just went into my local bank office back when I was living in Sweden and said like, hey, I want to invest and I have this risk profile, I'm thinking this long, and then they suggest which type of equity funds or stock funds that suit me. The fund I chose was really good and very reliable. 5 years later, my equity had grown with at least 120% more than that. So I was really happy with that. Imagine what that's going to be when I'm 65. Next thing is visualize your cash flow. That basically means use some type of spreadsheet like Excel or some financial app to track your spending. This is a really great way of getting an overview of your financial situation and basically identify where you might be overspending and where you might have to cut back in order to stay in your budget. I have always used Excel spreadsheet and also my bank app because it has a feature where you can see how much you're spending in what category. And for me, that has really worked well. And I haven't really needed an external app. But now my whole situation is different because I have a whole husband. I don't have a job anymore. So since the last 6 months, my situation has changed rapidly. And we actually are choosing to try out YNAB, which is an app that stands for You Need a Budget. And yeah, we've only tried it for 1 month. So I may get back to you on how that one is working for us. But the point is, track your spending and use some type of visualizing aid to help you track that spending. Next thing is sinking funds. And if you've never heard of sinking funds, I just implore you to YouTube sinking funds. Oh my God, I love those type of videos. When I first discovered them, I was hooked on them for weeks. Some of those videos have real ASMR vibes, and it's just so satisfying seeing people stuffing envelopes with money. And it's just good. Trust me, Google or YouTube sinking funds. Anyway, sinking funds is basically a system that will help you to plan ahead. And that is what budgeting is all about, right? Planning ahead and making sure we don't have those financial shocks. A sinking fund is a strategic way of saving money by setting away a little bit of money every month to a specific future expense. For example, we know about Christmas coming around every single year. We know about our own birthdays. We know about our parents' and friends' birthdays. We know about vacations that we want to take. We know about these yearly events that keep on coming. So instead of having a big expense from nowhere during Christmas or somebody's birthday gift, we actually plan ahead and say, okay, I'm gonna put away $30 per month until Christmas because then I'll have this many dollars and it's not gonna be a big shock to your budget. Personally, I have 3 sinking funds: Christmas, birthdays, and vacations. And that has helped me so much during the years. Also during the pandemic, when Richard and I was living apart, Tanzania was the middle ground for us. So we would travel a lot to Tanzania, and I would have always money for a ticket because each month I would save, I remember, 1,700 Swedish crowns because I knew 1 or 2 times a year I'm going to TZ and we're going to meet up there. So sinking funds, I really love them because it really categorizes what money is for what purpose. Minimize your time on social media. Places like Instagram and YouTube are wonderful spaces to get inspiration, to get ideas, and it's just entertaining to be on there as well. But it is also spaces where you get influenced to shop, consume, and that means spending more money. I can sometimes be an impressionable person, so I have found that when I spend time on Instagram, I definitely get the urge to overshop because I want to achieve those cute, wonderful styles and looks that the Instagram girlies are parading because they look good and I want to look good like that. So they influence me to like, maybe go to this store, Fashion Nova, not Fashion Nova, I wouldn't go. And I also ended up spending an unhealthy amount of time just watching what other people are wearing, where they're traveling, the destinations they're going to, the apartments they're buying, the cars they're driving, the beauty treatments they're getting. It was mentally harmful for me, and it was also harmful to my pockets. Number 1, it was stealing my time away. So I didn't focus on producing my own content. So I wasn't building my own brand and I wasn't getting my own bag. I'm just watching everybody else getting their bags and they look cute, but I want my bag too. And I remember my mom would always say to me when I was younger, because I loved watching TV when I was younger. So when she wanted me to do something, go do the dishes or something, she would say, here you are sitting watching TV. They're making money. You're not making any money. So every time I feel like watching too much TV or social media, I'm like, damn, these people are making money. I'm not making money. I'm just watching them. Number 2, a lot of the social media apps, again, they influence me to shop more than I actually need because it gives that fantasy idea of, oh, you just need that one more garment to complete your wardrobe and you will look drop dead gorgeous, but it's a beautiful lie. It's just a beautiful lie. It's not reality. That one garment is going to make you happy for a week if even that, and then you're never gonna wear it again. Doing that just shatters your budget and it destroys the planet, because most of us, what we can afford is going to be that fast fashion clothing, which is made with terrible, low quality synthetic textiles, or textiles with lots of toxic chemicals. It's gonna be clothing made from people who have been exploited in other parts of the world, who have it much worse than us low middle incomers in US and Europe. So basically just minimize your time on social media. It's gonna help your mental well-being and it's going to help your pockets. So that was my video, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you as a 20-something person got some insight on how to better save and budget in a more realistic way. Maybe you have some great tips on how to budget and save. If you do, feel free to put it down below in the comment section. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you like, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.